Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Life by the Horns, where we boldly tackle life's terrain. So, between this episode and the next one, we're going to do a mini series about two completely free things that you can use as a small business owner to elevate your business and your brand. And with that, we're going to go ahead and jump right into today's episode, which is all about Google My Business and how to leverage it properly. I'm your host, Dustin, and with me today is Blake. And Blake, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you, Dustin, and thank you for everyone who's tuning in. If you do like this podcast, you like this episode, please like, share, subscribe, whatever you got to do. We really appreciate it, and promise you that you will learn a lot from these series. So yeah, this episode is going to be talking about a real good strategy for small business owners and entrepreneurs who basically want to be more visible and get themselves out there with a really low barrier cost to entry. So what we're going to be discussing today is the Google Business Profile, also known as Google My Business. So yeah, we're going to jump right into that today. And first off, Dustin, I want to let you have the floor. What is a Google Business Profile, and how does it differ from regular online business listings?
Yeah, for sure. So, first things first, the majority of us, the majority of people, like 90% of searches or 96% of searches are going through Google. So, that being known, Google has a property or a platform called a GBP, to us in marketing, or a Google Business Profile. And all it simply is a platform that gives businesses the opportunity to input who they are, what they do, where they service, what types of products they have, services they have, et cetera, how to get in contact with them. And they've got various different ways inside of there, but it gives businesses, really a very simple and easy to set up platform that's 100% free, so that people that are looking for their services can find them easily. Beyond that, though, how does it differ from others? You can think of it as like kind of synonymous to like a Yelp listing. Heaven forbid, Yellow Pages way back in the day, and various other listings that you can find online. But again, going back to where I started with this, if 96% of people are searching for things inside of Google, one could definitely say that, yeah, a Google Business Profile carries way more weight than Yelp or anything else.
So awesome! Thanks for sharing that. I know there's multiple ways to appear on Google. I know there's ads, as you mentioned, Google Business Profile, SEO. Like, how does your GBP differ from running Google Ads or doing SEO?
Yeah, great question. So, if we think of search results as a whole, you've got your Google ads that sit at the top, you've got your Google Business Profile or local listings that are directly underneath that, and then your organic listings, which are all things SEO. And there's some various nuances there with questions that people ask and whatnot inside of the SERPs, but those are the primary three. The biggest differentiator, inside of ads, any business has the ability to, within their headlines and descriptions, have something that's catchy to drive additional click through rates. Candidly, you can lie in those headlines, so a business could totally say like over 1,000 5-star reviews or whatever it may be, just to try to drive a higher trust factor, those kinds of things. Um, Ads are sitting at the top. They're only going to get about 10 to 15% of clicks on average, though. And then directly below that, especially if you're a local business, where most people are driving a lot of their interaction, are those listings. Um, with those listings, there are so many, especially in mobile, but so many other opportunities for a business to drive more engagement and interaction. And what I mean by that is, A, you're telling them who you are, what you do, and where you do it. B, if you've got it set up properly, though, you can give people the ability to go ahead and schedule appointments online directly from the GBP. In addition to that, if you have it turned on, they can text or message you directly from the GBP. They can also go directly to your site. They can call you. They can really hit you up in any type of modality, as far as communication is concerned, that they prefer to. That doesn't exist inside of the ads platform. Yes, they can call you. Yes, they can go to the site, but you've limited them to two things. There is some testing going on right now with Google Ads where you can actually message, but it is in beta right now. And then when you go down to what we consider SEO or organic listings, directly below that, although the click through rate is significantly higher inside of that, again, you're limited to the only thing you can do is drive them to your site. And then if you've got a well optimized site, clearly they can call you. I mean, if you've got a chatbot or something on there, they can message you, but it creates an additional click. And for anyone that knows anything about marketing, the more stages or clicks or interactions we ask customers to do, the more likely we are to lose them. So, for me, I actually did a search this morning, just typed in plumber near me, pulled up, obviously some Google ads at the top of that. Wasn't super interested in them. The ads were actually terrible. Directly below that, there were verified plumbers. So if you're in the service-based industry, that's one other thing that I think is super important about GBPs. You can get a Google verification badge where you basically go through a vetting process where Google says, hey, like, we trust in these guys so much that we offer a guarantee to back them, which is a huge thing. And those will drive additional clicks and a lot more leads and conversions as well. But as I looked at the listings that popped up there, I mean, again, instantly, and it's super cold here right now. So if you've got busted pipes or something like that, I could instantly message the plumber, I could instantly call the plumber, or I could instantly set up an appointment for today, where I can't do that on any of those other, you know, platforms or whatnot inside of Google. So there's just a lot, that a business can do if they fully optimize that thing that can help them, just drive more activity to their business.
Man, that's awesome. I think that leads me to my next question is, let's say I'm a startup business, or I'm a relatively small business. I don't have deep pockets, right, to spend on marketing, such as ads, or even invest into doing SEO, and wait a while. So, in what ways does having a well optimized Google business profile enhance the visibility of a local business?
Well, I mean, it's relatively simple. Google's business or biggest thing is, it's a search engine, correct? So they're trying to make sure that when people are searching for something, that the most relevant information is popping up so that people stay on their platform. That being said, with a Google business profile, if you make sure that everything is filled out completely, if you're updating your hours during holidays and those kinds of things, if you're uploading imagery from projects and stuff that you've done, offers that you have, creating posts, etc. It's just showing Google that you care about the platform, you're consistently using the platform, and you're creating more relevancy with the platform. And as long as you're getting reviews and those kind of things and responding to those consistently too, you're going to be showing them that, hey, I'm more relevant than the other guys in my area. So Google's going to be way more likely to show your business in those top three results inside of the map pack in the local area. So again, by having that visibility, a lot more click through rate, a lot more leads, a lot more visibility for the business.
Beautiful. So let's just keep going on that same trajectory. Let's say again, I'm a brand new business. Could you highlight some of the key features that businesses should focus on when setting up or updating their Google Business profile? So I know you mentioned getting images. You briefly mentioned reviews, but what should businesses be focusing on the most? Yeah, when setting it up, or even updating their GBP.
First and foremost, I think that you just need to fill the thing out entirely with accurate information. Again, name, address, phone number, website, how they get in contact with you. Imagery is super important. I know, a lot of businesses don't take the time to actually take good quality imagery from the products and services and things that they do. Clearly customers can add those things inside of your profile as well, but I would hugely recommend doing that because people want to see what you're doing. And they can see that directly inside of the profile. I mean, for me, I'm a foodie. So if I'm looking up restaurants when I'm out of town, reviews matter. But the next thing I'm going to go to is pictures. And I want to see the photos of what, like customers are taking when they're receiving, food, but I want to see what the owner's taking as well. Like if they taken the time to actually take great pictures of the entrees and stuff that they serve their staff, etc. So those things hugely matter. Beyond that, though, I would do anything and everything I could, and it's super simple to do to go ahead and activate the messaging side of your GBP so that you receive those instantly. So if somebody's looking for a quote, if somebody needs you to come out and do whatever, schedule a service, if they have an inquiry about pricing, those kind of things that you've got instant access and ability to respond back to them. And ironically enough, there's a lot of businesses that turn that feature off because they're busy. I'll tell you what, like you can fix a lot of sins with money in sales. So I would, if that's the modality of, communication in which people want to talk to you, which is shooting you a message. If you're so busy that you can't answer that, then my guess would be you've got enough revenue to hire somebody that can. So be there and meet people where they want to be met. And so again, make sure that's turned on, and then clearly have your website listed so they can go there. Make sure your phone number is accurate so they can get in touch with you and call you. But that would be the big things. Just make sure it's set up entirely. Make sure you've got some great imagery and stuff inside of there. And then beyond that, for every method of communication that Google's going to allow that business profile to have that set up so you can talk to people again where they're at.
Awesome. So let's say I've got all that set up, reviews, start flowing through. I start having some sort of engagement, with my prospects. How does Google Business Profile like facilitate that interaction with your customers, and how important are customer reviews in that context?
So the Google Business Profile is not really facilitating the interaction. That's really on the business owner. And there's a lot that just hope and pray that, we do the service. They're going to go to our GBP and leave us a review. Like the days of asking people to do that or just assuming that they will are over. Like we're all so distracted. It's not even funny. I mean, I can even tell you from personal experience back in the day, we would, gosh, this was a silly story, but about 5 years ago, we had delivered something for a customer. It got all the way back to our office. She wasn't happy with it. Her son wanted something that was a little bit more interactive. We then turned around, brought something else out in addition, didn't charge him a dime. And the only thing I asked for was like, hey, could you guys leave us a review? And just let everyone know like how great the experience was. Don't tell them we didn't charge you for this, but that we reacted quickly. And she's like, yeah, no problem. It was a birthday party. So she got distracted. Hours later, clearly she forgot. Like the review never took place. I guarantee you, though, if after that we would have sent her a text, through some sort of automated system that just said, hey, please do this, XYZ. And even if she was busy, if you used a platform that, paid attention to behavior, and if she didn't respond or he didn't respond, it followed up again a day or two later, way more likely to get those reviews. So yeah, again, it's Google Business Profile is not going to facilitate that. It has to come from the business owner, but there are a lot of platforms that can help with that significantly so that you set it up once. And whether you have to manually drop, which wouldn't be great, but it is a thing, manually drop the customer's information there, it can then put them through that campaign, or some through API integrations and those kind of things can do it for you automatically.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you elaborating on that. And I think it's super important, right, for new businesses or even an existing business, whether you've been in business for 5 months or even 5 years, uh, having, that really solid GBP where, you are focusing on reviews because, as you alluded to, right, Google is starting to credit and reward businesses more for things like reviews and communication in response to, uh, you know, queries or anything like that. I think the quicker you are, the more expedited you are um, to respond to reviews, to like reviews, to coordinate with your prospects when they leave a message. I think Google favors that and is starting to reward that. More than a business that, let's just say, has been around for 20 something years, right? I think attention right now is the number one commodity, right? And the more attention that you're getting and the more activity that you're getting, I think, that's what's rewarding businesses the most at the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool, brother. Well, I want to ask you, so Google Business Profile, I know that we've been just kind of hammering down on that today. How important is it though, to have an omni-channel approach? Because I know many businesses focus on SEO. How does having a GBP contribute to, a local business's search engine optimization strategy?
Yeah, I mean it's a big deal. If you're a local business and you're working with an SEO agency, period, and that's not one of the first things that they ask you about is access to that, so they can optimize it and do some magic there. You're with the wrong agency, but it's hugely a big deal. And I'm not going to get super technical, but one of the things that I love doing from an SEO standpoint is if an agency or even like you as a business is going to go out there and try to get any type of publications from other companies to speak to who you are, one of the things that I love doing is not only linking back to the actual website, but linking back to the actual CID URL for the Google Business Profile, so that we're providing like taking one thing and applying strength to two different entities that are going to show up when people are doing searches. So, again, something as super simple as that just creates more relevancy. And I know I've said that a couple of times, but that's what Google cares about in so many ways. So, as far as the strategy goes, yeah, I think that's, super important. If you're going down the path of SEO, clearly make sure that an agency or yourself is paying attention to your GBP. And if you're going to do press releases and those kind of things, make sure you're linking back to both so you can have more credibility than the other guy.
Do you find that most search queries now are mobile or desktop?
That's 100% mobile. Yeah, I mean, and it, I mean, we look at our own customer sets in different industries and stuff that we're in. From a B2B perspective, I mean, it's still heavy desktop for sure. Yeah, but from a B2C perspective, man, it is hugely, hugely mobile. Generally, we see, at least in the industries that we're in, 60 to 70%. Some are higher than that. But what I
Wow.
love about that, specifically to a GBP, we'll go back to the plumber analogy, to the search that I did earlier. Again, from my phone, do the search, and all of a sudden I can instantly message you, instantly call you, instantly book an appointment from my phone. So quick query, quick load, and within 15 seconds I can get what I want. And that's what people are wanting to do. And it was just an addition. I mean, it was one click and it's right there. So very important.
Here's kind of a curveball I'm going to throw at you, and that is like I know, technology is advancing, AI is rapidly advancing. Voice is becoming more important, I think, to a business's strategy. How is voice and being able to ask Siri or Alexa, whatever it might be, hey Alexa or Siri, find me a plumber near me, right? So how important is the voice integration being used for GBP?
I, I mean, just from a global perspective, I think it's important. I still think we're like in the early adaptation or adoption stages of it. I mean, I listen to my family even ask questions, similar to that. Normally it's like, oh, what's the weather and those kind of things. We ask for recipes. I see that, those channels are doing very well with it. I think though, for plumbers and service-based industries and so many others, there's not a heavy emphasis of an SEO strategy that's specific to voice search. And again, it's more like a contextual or information stage where you're again trying to find a good recipe or whatever it may be, or things to do, inside of a city. And when you're on vacation, yeah, voice is cool. But when it's more transactional based, I think there's just a lot more research that people are doing before they make that decision, which voice isn't going to do for them. Not yet, anyway.
That's that's interesting. Okay, I wonder if reviews and um, customer engagement still have a big component is a big component or has a lot to do with voice search, and being shown on your mobile, from a local business perspective. If you have a ton of reviews, if it works the same way as just the standard GBP.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'll leave that to our head of SEO to answer, though.
Awesome, man. um, well, cool. I want to wrap this up and put a bow on it. Lastly, can you discuss the analytics and insights real quickly that businesses gain from their Google Business Profile, and how can they use this data to improve their online presence?
Yeah, I'll touch on that quick, and then I want to jump back into reviews a little bit more, just so we can harp on the importance of that. But I mean, from an analytics and insights perspective, if you're just using GBP, I mean, clearly that's where all the analytics and stuff are going to come from. It'll show you the amount of traffic that came from it. So website visitors, people that have, especially if you're local, inquired about directions to come see you, how many people have called you, if you've got the messaging capability set up on there, how many have messaged you, and those kind of things. So it's got some like nice, I would call it elementary data. If you've got more of an omni-channel marketing approach that you had mentioned, Blake, I wouldn't hyper focus on the analytics inside of GBP. I'd pay way more attention to the analytics from Google Analytics, just so you can see, where um, you can leverage your marketing muscle the most, just to get the most gain. Um, but aside from that, the second part of this I wanted to touch on just a little bit more. From the review perspective, Blake, you had mentioned, more reviews, responding to reviews, timeliness, and all that kind of stuff matters. I want to encourage people to make sure that they respond to all reviews. And it's very easy to respond to the good reviews as they come in. And with those reviews, I would challenge you to mirror their response. So, I mean, if it's super short and they just, if Kelly leaves you a 5-star review, thank her, say her name, for said 5-star review or the opportunity to serve her. It doesn't need to be super long because then it looks like you're trying. If somebody does mention, how great the team is, mentions the names, how wonderful the customer service is. I mean, yeah, I mean, thank them for that. Talk about, how much you value processes and training your people so that they can deliver such great customer service or whatever it may be that they mentioned. But beyond that, the tough one that I see most businesses have a hard time with are the negative reviews. And I don't like negative reviews. I don't think anybody does. But as a business, it gives you the opportunity to tell your story and your side of what happened. And that doesn't mean you go, tit for tat with somebody. That is not the idea. And if it's a really bad one, I would encourage anyone to take it offline, have a conversation with the customer over the phone, not via email. Um, Understand where they're coming from, listen. Don't get super defensive. Try to offer a solution that makes sense. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, they're just a terrible person." Well, I can tell you this, and it's a lesson that was extremely difficult for me to learn early on. But there is a big difference between being right and winning. And you may be right, and you may have done all of the things and set the right expectations, and they may just not be a great person. But you're not gonna in the public eye, you're not gonna win that if you just try to say, well, our policy was this and you didn't let us do this. And it makes you look like the super defensive business owner that other people are gonna be like, man, I don't want to do business with this guy. Now all of a sudden they're erring on the side of the customer and what their response was. So what I would rather do in those instances is, and I've had lots of these, but hear them out, understand that there may be some opportunity on your end to do things better, figure out what is fair and reasonable to them and what they're looking for. And sometimes that means you go above and beyond. Bite the bullet, do it. And then at the end of the day, generally what we'll ask is like, hey, Robert, or whoever it may be, we want to get you taken care of. So here's what we're going to do. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me. Also, if you get the opportunity, if you wouldn't mind editing the review once we have delivered, XYZ and you're 100% satisfied, we'd really appreciate it because, I'm sure as you can tell, our reputation really matters because most business owners are not going to take the time to pick up the phone and do what I'm saying right now. So it's a huge component, a very huge component. So again, I'd encourage you guys, respond to each and every review, both good, bad, and indifferent, mirror the responses, and then heaven forbid, if it's not a great one, take it offline, fix it, learn from it, be introspective in the process, um, and then go on from there.
Yeah, don't be a keyboard warrior and go back and forth, right?
No.
Um, it's interesting though because as a business, right? Like we pride ourselves on how many positive reviews we get, and I think the statistic was like for every 100 good reviews you get, one bad review could pretty much wipe those all away. And more people tend to focus on the one bad review than the 100 positive ones. And I think it's the human psychology. People would rather move away from pain than they are more willing to move towards pleasure.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And even in my own behavior, yeah, I want to see the most relevant reviews. As what's going on right now, because clearly, I mean, that's the state of the operation of which the business is in. But the bad ones too, because I want to see not so much what the customer has to say, but what the business owner or whoever is responding has to say. Like, how do they handle these challenging situations? And are they a person of grace and a person that's willing to learn from their own mistakes? And they're a person that's focused on, winning in the public eye, or are they a person that's just self-serving and all things the opposite of what I just said? So I think many people are probably in a lot of ways the same.
Yeah, agreed, man. And I think you know, it's okay for a business, and I don't want to say, hey, it's okay to get bad reviews. That's not what I'm saying at all. But even if you get one bad review or two bad reviews out of hundreds or even thousands, it's okay because not every business is perfect. We sometimes fuck it up, and that's okay. But I think what you said before, which is, opening a line of communication with that prospect where you did fuck up, apologizing for it, and finding some strategic way to move forward.
Yeah,
Because as you said, there's a difference between being right and winning. And a lot of the times winning isn't proving your point and meaning that you're right and you're like, hey, I gotcha, right? And have that moment. But I think it's in this case, either getting the review removed because you have found a way to move forward with that prospect and alleviate, the questions, problems, and concerns that they had. So that should be your ultimate goal. And I think by handling it the way that you had mentioned before, um, that is the road to winning for sure.
Yeah, agreed, man. Agreed.
Well, cool. I appreciate all you guys tuning in, watching this video today. Dustin, man, thanks for digging in so deeply into the GBP. I think a lot of businesses will benefit from watching this video. And again, it's free. It's a free tool for you guys to use. It takes, I think, 30 minutes to get set up. So as a business owner, if you're not heavily invested into GBP, do it now before more algorithm changes come in the future from Google and things get even more complicated. Start that now. Process is super simple and will help you in the long run. So appreciate you guys tuning in from Blake and Dustin, and thanks for watching Life by the Horns. We'll catch you in episode 3.
See you guys.
Peace, guys.
All right, all right. Yeah, that one was
Dude,
much
that by far was our best.